Which is one of the most terrifying animals on the planet is probably one of the most open-ended questions ever and could have limitless answers. But if we actually try to answer the question logically, we might have a clear winner, and we bet none of you would have ever known about the true dangers this animal possesses. Polar bears are the most dangerous species recorded, as they're the only animals who actively hunt for humans. But there's more than just this to fear the bear. The story of Aaron Gibbons, which we have in store for you today, will prove to you the true horrors these monsters behold behind their snowline demeanor. Who was Aaron? Did he and his family survive the deadly attack? Where and how were they attacked? Watch the video till the very end as we answer all the questions that are running in your head. Before we get into this terrible event, I kindly ask you to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you become a member of the Fierce Zone family. Thank you in advance. The twilight on the 3rd of July 2018. What was supposed to be a fun and beautiful day of quality time with the kids turned out to be one of the deadliest accidents ever recorded in Nunavut history. 31-year-old Aaron Gibbons was a simple guy whose family meant the world to him. His physically challenging job at a gold mine deep in the Arctic kept him away from the kids for weeks at a time. He couldn't wait to return back home to meet his precious little kids, and was an amazing dad. He was also a pillar of his community. Being extremely talented and equipped with hunting and fishing techniques, Aaron had all the skills passed through generations of the Inuit people and liked spending his leisure time by helping others. The young father was an experienced provider of food for his community and had immense respect for his community and nature. Aaron indeed was the hero of his village who everyone loved and adored. Aaron and his children lived in the Arviat, a community of 2,500 people in Nunavut, and the largest and northernmost territory of Canada. Arviat is a breathtaking location which is predominantly Inuit. The citizens in this locality were experienced hunters and fishermen and heavily relied on the same for their day-to-day. The region was famous for the wide variety of birds and animals that set home, including the polar bears, millions of migratory birds and breathtaking beluga whales, and the charming caribou. When Aaron returned home for the weekend, he had plans to take his children to Sentry Islands, a popular fishing and hunting spot on the west coast of Hudson Bay, and harvest some delicious Arctic eggs with his little ones. The family set off for their hunt, where they motored about 10 miles to Sentry Island in Aaron's boat. Arviat was located within the range of the western Hudson Bay polar bear population. This was the same location which in 2016 only was recorded for over 840 bears habiting the location over the last few years. This isn't news to the inhabitants, and the civilians of Arviat were well known about the potential dangers of living in bear country. Even Aaron's kids had heard local hunters and community elders expressing worry over the increasing numbers of polar bears around Arviat sometime prior to the traumatic incident. It's all believed that the kids had also been warned about the apparently deceiving and relaxed bear's demeanor, and were taught to be extra vigilant about the creature. But with their protector along with them, the kids felt safe and carefree as they knew that nothing could hurt them with their father around. Well, they weren't wrong. Aaron died a hero when he gave up his life in an attempt to save his daughter's life from a terrifying polar bear attack. The young dad spent his last moments watching his beautiful angels play and have fun, where he spotted the snowy monster approaching towards his kids. Even before the kids got a chance to realize the deadly beast which was about to attack them, the white polar bear pounced and charged at his children. Alan's life flashed in front of his eyes when he realized his kids were about to be attacked by one of the deadliest predators in the whole world. He couldn't let that happen. Without giving a second thought, Aaron raced toward the children, shouting at them to run towards the boat for safety. The kids, who only now realized what was happening, started screeching in horror and running away from the horrendous bear towards their boat. Aaron ran towards the bear, putting himself between his kids and the advancing monster. He had no doubt about endangering his own life to protect his kids. His children meant the world to him, and there was no way in heaven or hell he would let them be ripped apart by the hungry beast right in front of his eyes. As Gibbons advanced towards his death, with every step he ran closer towards the bear, a sense of calm ran through him knowing his children were safe and sound. He finally came across face to face of the bear, where he hoped with all his might that some miracle would happen and he could go back home with his children safe and sound. But we all knew what followed. Before we continue with this bizarre event, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications so you never miss a new video. Thank you in advance. The polar bear jumped and pounced on Aaron immediately, killing him as he ate his raw flesh with his massive jaws. Aaron tried his best to fight off the bear and run away to safety, but he also wanted to ensure that the bear was distracted for long enough so that his children could reach the shore safely. He happily sacrificed himself, hoping his children were far away by now. Only a father can make such a sacrifice. The children were completely safe and unharmed, but Mr. Gibbons passed away in the attack. The incident traumatized every individual who was spending their day on the island. An adult who heard the screams on the beach grabbed his gun and ultimately ended up shooting and killing the beast. A group of people were set off to bring the children back home and recover Aaron's body. William Tic Tac, one of Aaron's friends, couldn't stand to see the sight of his dead pal. Gibbons' body was covered in blood and was so badly mauled, it looked little. He was enjoying his day with his children. Mr. Gibbons' uncle, Gordy, Kid Lapik, told Canadian media they were surprised by a bear that had started a stalk or charge towards one of the children. One of the girls, who were also characterized as primary school age, contacted for help through the boat's radio. She used the CB radio to call for help. Aaron's young daughter was sobbing and barely making sense. She was trying to explain to her grandmother, who was helplessly listening on the other side. "We actually heard the call for help," said Mr. Kid Lapik. "It was terrible to listen to." Mr. Gibbons' death had frightened his hometown of Arviat, which is only about 10 kilometers from the site of the attack. This region has grown accustomed to seeing polar bears as they migrate north. "It's really just incredibly sad," said local lawmaker John Main on Canadian broadcaster CBC. "We're a small community, and when something like this happens, it affects the whole community." But what exactly is the reason for this growing number of polar bear populations in these residential locations? Polar bears running out of food is considered one of the biggest reasons that they've migrated towards inhabited regions to easily access their human mates. It also doesn't help that popularity among humans is threatening wildlife. Aaron was unarmed at the time, police said, even though he would have had a rifle with him on the outing. With over 380 polar bear sightings in the Inuit in 2017, the mainly Inuit community has become increasingly concerned about their safety. The number of polar bears in the western Hudson Bay region is at around 840, according to polar bear experts. However, they have noted a significant decrease in the animal's body size and condition. Polar bear excursions hosted in the area have also extracted the wild animal's fear of humans. Mr. Kid Lapik alleged on Twitter, potentially resulting in more attacks on humans. There are also some intriguing theories about the bear's newly found interest in human settlements, which points down to climate change and the reason for the same. According to scientists, polar bears are increasingly driven to the edge of their natural habitat by shrinking ice places, and Arviat, which is located just at the edge of the bear's habitat, are bound to see an increase in the number of polar bears, but this won't be permanent. We really hope this isn't the case. Did you learn something new about polar bears today? Let us know in the comments down below. I want to thank you for watching this video and would like to ask you, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks in advance.